this is Diane from Teach Pre-K, and today I just wanted to talk a little bit more about learning through play. That is my focus for the next 6 months and probably beyond. It's always been a focus of mine because as I've gone through my career of teaching early childhood, I do notice that when we are actively involved in playing, or if the kids feel like a center that might be, learning letters or um, finding numbers or something, if I make that into a game, they're going to learn so much faster. If I start it off easy and then make it a little bit more challenging, but still where they can find success, they're going to feel good about themselves, good about what they're doing, and want to learn more. So you've got to put yourself in the mindset of play is how kids learn. It's how they learn to relate to each other. It's how they learn to work through maybe some problems they're having, maybe some trauma. It's a way they learn to sharpen their communication skills. It's where they learn by stacking blocks. They learn math concepts, physics concepts, through acting out maybe stories or going to a center like a dramatic play center that relates to our theme. They're going to take that classroom vocabulary into their dramatic play, and that's going to even increase their vocabulary more. There is so much involved in learning through play that is beneficial to kids. We know that 90% of your brain development happens by the time we are 5 years old. So us early childhood teachers, everyone thinks we're just playing with kids all day. We are doing the most important work out there for kids. The very most, bar none. There used to be two schools of thought in early childhood, and I see us breaking away from that, and I think it's a really good thing. A lot of people were strictly academic, and then other centers would be play-based, and some took play-based too far. Some took academic too far. The programs that are really finding the most success and have the happiest kids are the programs that are bringing the two together. Bringing that learning numbers, shapes, letters, even letter sounds, even some sight words in pre-K. If you can do it with play coming in, it's going to work. The kids are going to be happy. They are not going to be stressed out. Some centers that are academic will assess kids to death. If you are assessing kids constantly, stop. Find a way to do some passive assessing. While kids are doing an academic activity or like a letter activity, a number activity, that's a fun little game that they can do fairly independently, take notes. In the lesson plans that I sell on Teachers Pay Teachers, the math and literacy centers have assessment recording sheets. I put them in because I've always just made notes, but I thought, I'll make this really easy where there's like check marks if they're understanding the concepts and stuff like that. And then there's a little spot for notes because that might work for someone else. But for me, I've always just had a little notebook that I take with me, and I'll make notes of what kids need more help on certain things. And then I'll work that into my centers as I go. My kids get assessed by me one time a year. They will be assessed after the winter break. So in about a month, I'll do an assessment. We have an early March parent-teacher conference. They are informally assessed by me at the very beginning of the year. So I just make some notes. We do some activities. I make some notes. But I have a reading team assessment. A reading assessment team, excuse me, at my school that will come in at the beginning of the year and then mid-year. In fact, they finished up last week, and then again at the end of the year that I won't see, but the teacher the following year will see. So they get 3 assessments plus one more formal assessment from me, and they are done in a very, very playful, fun way. My assessments take almost a full week. I break them up, they're super hands on. I do them just as I do a Play to Learn center. I just think that is more natural for the kids. It's what they're used to doing. I don't assess them on anything that is out of their developmental range or is not my standard for 3 and 4 year olds or 4 to 5 year olds. I'm just not going to do it. So, anyway, that is what I do. Well, and really important, it's important to get into our heads as teachers that not only do kids learn more and better when they are playing and enjoying what activities they're doing, as adults, it's the exact same thing. So if you've ever started, let's say you start knitting, for example, and it's hard and it's awkward at first and you just don't get how to do those stitches and you're ripping out over and over, but the first time that you successfully, work something out or do a little pattern, you love it and you want to do it more. So I want you to think about that feeling you get when you finally understand how to do something and try to bring that into every single center for your kiddos. So when I do like a letter formation activity, I throw in, to make it more playful and more of a challenge, I'll say, okay, trace these letters and I'm going to circle your very best ones. And I circle their best ones and I give them a smiley face and they look at the ones that I circled and they are just beaming. They love it. They love it. And just that little, I'll circle and I'll make a smiley face. That's all it took to make it a little bit more of a fun challenge and for them to feel like they accomplished something. And so something as boring as letter tracing has become a fun activity and the kids flock to that center. I didn't think it could happen, but I also will, just make it fun. We come, we sit together, we talk, we make jokes. It's great. So one thing that I want you to think about when you're thinking about bringing that academic part and that playing part together is there are 5 things that you need. The first thing is it needs to be actively engaging, and you can do this by simply adding movement to maybe a mundane activity. When I count in circle time, I make sure that we clap, count, and then we get on our feet, we jump, count, and then we count backwards and we lower back down to sitting in slow motion. It's a great quad workout. But when your bum hits the floor on 0, I always go, oh, that hurts. You guys, they love it. That's all it takes is just that little teeny bit of silliness. And they love it and think of all they are learning. And they're getting some wiggles out. There's so many benefits to that. You can also make things actively engaging. It doesn't have to be physical movement. It can be like hands-on activities. Count 10 bears. What if you add one more? Put one more. Let's count. Oh my gosh, they love manipulating things, stacking things. Um, just any way you can get them engaged in what they're doing, throwing in linking, those little chain things, Unifix cubes, whatever. Make it active. You know, anyway, they love it. Also, it's got to be socially interactive. So if you can have them when you're in a small group center working on something together, or trying to guess something together, or maybe hiding snowmen under numbers for you, and they are working on tricking you together, but we're also identifying numbers or letters and learning things along the way. It's fantastic when it's a group effort, or if they are cheering somebody on. I'll do an activity with bean bags that I stack up on my head for 10 apples up on top during my apples unit. And I make a tape line and a tape line further away, and the kids go from one tape line to the other, and we're cheering for each other, and we're so excited. Can they do it with one more bean bag? And it's a challenge, and it's fun, and it's social, and it helps them build relationships with their classmates, with their teacher, and it just leads to easier classroom management. So we have actively engaging, socially interactive, and it has to be iterative. So I want it to be like learning by trying and failing over and over and over again. How can we make the tallest towers with 10 blocks and have them not fall over? Count 10 blocks. Give each child that challenge. They stack them all one on top of the other. It gets too tall, it falls over. They've got to try it again. They try it again. And it doesn't work, but it worked a little better. So they're going to build on what they already know and try it again. And it doesn't have to be just in one sitting. You can draw from prior knowledge from things that maybe you accomplished a week ago or a month ago. But they're going to use the same idea over again and just add to it. And that makes it playful. That makes them engaged. That makes them excited about learning. Of course, it should be joyful. It should be joyful. They should be happy. And again, I'm going to bring in that feeling successful. That is so, so, so important. Anything you can do where you can start them out feeling successful and then layer in some challenge, that is going to bring joyful play. Things that they actually can accomplish. If the kids are just getting frustrated with a game you're trying to play, don't play that game again. They're not ready for it. Try to find a way to scale that back or scale it down, because then it will be joyful and it won't be frustrating anymore. And it goes back to like the example I used of knitting. It is not joyful when you start. It is frustrating. But once you accomplish it and get into a rhythm, it's very joyful. So use that same idea with the games that you play with your kids. Also, it should be meaningful to them. So if you are learning about space and you've got a space station in your dramatic play, get out some dark blue butcher paper, glue some stars on, have the kids create galaxies, and then put it up in your space station. That will be meaningful to them. If there is a beloved custodian or office worker at your school, have them write their names, practice writing their names on a card that they are going to give to Miss Cindy in the office, who's so sweet to them every day. If it has meaning to the kids, it is going to be joyful. It is going to be social. It is going to encompass all of those things. So remember, actively engaging, socially interactive, iterative, joyful, and meaningful. And you have got it. And I know this has been kind of long and hopefully not all over the place. But over the next few weeks, I'm hoping to show some examples from my class. I'm going to film some things in my classroom, and probably I'll have to do some here in my office or just show some centers that I have done just sitting at a table, and then some other variations that I've done on them. I am hoping to put together a little play to learn packet, maybe a little webinar for you guys, but it's all in the works because seriously, it is my only focus this year. It really changes everything, and I know it will change everything for you and for your students. You will enjoy your job more. Your students will enjoy school more. They will develop better relationships with you and their classmates, and all of that together is going to lead to a better classroom environment, and classroom management is going to be a whole lot easier. It's just going to turn you into this community of playful learners. And I can't think of anything better for early childhood education than that. Thanks for listening. If you liked this video, please subscribe and check out some of my other videos. Everything is kind of along the same vein. But anyway, thanks so much.